So hey guys, I just wanted to talk about a poll that we put out a few days ago. It was a little pop quiz, and we said, what kind of visas do you think has the most kind of rights, the most rights in Thailand? And when I say rights, I don't mean human rights. I mean like rights to buy a property, rights to become a resident, all of these kinds of things. Okay, so let's not get political here, guys. All right. So let's begin. And I had 5 categories in the poll. I had tourist visas, I had retiree visas, I had elite visas, I had marriage visas, and I had work permit or business owners. That's your non-B visa and your work permit. All right. So we got 376 votes. You guys always vote a lot. Thank you very much. And let's begin with the tourist visa. This is the normal tourist visa that you get. You can get a visa before you come to Thailand, or you can just get the stamp if you're eligible for your country when you arrive in Thailand. And that's your 30-day stamp. That's your 60-day visa, which you can extend for 1 more month, that sort of thing. So this kind of visa, what can you do with this visa? Okay, we get a lot of questions about this all the time. Actually, you can do quite a lot. You can get a driver's license. You can rent property in Thailand. You can do a few other things, but it's like if you're going to do non-permanent things, then a tourist visa you can actually do that with. Let's talk about the rent property thing a little bit. Yeah, you can rent anything in Thailand with just a tourist visa. You don't have to be here all the time. As long as people think that you will pay, they will rent you the property. There are no government regulations stipulating that, hey, if you have a tourist visa, you can't rent some property. You can. And once you rent property, that digs you deeper into Thailand, okay? So even if you can rent the property, then you can go home, okay? And you still have your property rented in Thailand. You're paying for it remotely, whatever. Somebody else is living there. You can rent it out as an Airbnb as long as where it is that you can actually allow to do that with the regulations for the Muban or the condo or whatever. You can do all of these things, okay? You can make money out of Thailand with just a tourist visa, renting property, or just keeping it as a place to hang out when you come into the kingdom. Okay, and of course, once you rent a property, even though the banking regulations are getting stricter all the time, some banks will allow you to open a bank account with a tourist visa if you're renting a property for like a year. Like you can show like a 1-year lease, then some banks will allow you to open a bank account. The reason why banks are getting actually a little stiffer in the regulations, it's not because of Thailand for the most part. It's more having to do with the United States, okay? The United States has a lot of clout in terms of the reciprocal arrangements that they have with countries. And they want to keep tabs on their citizens. They want to do all kinds of things. So like, for example, if a country like Thailand or a small country like my country, for example, Jamaica, has a more lax banking atmosphere, then they'll say, oh, then we'll maybe reduce your visa quota for the year so less Thai people can come to you. They'll do things like that. That really fucks up everything. So this is why the banks have to kind of toe the line. The governments push down all these regulations on the bank all the time. It's not really because of Thailand per se, but it's usually external countries that cause it to happen. All right, because Thailand doesn't have a motive for not opening bank accounts for foreigners. After all, foreigners used to do that quite easily in Thailand before things got a little strict. Anyway, we went a little bit sidebar on that one. But let's get back on track. All right, so that's tourist visas. So you can rent property, you can get a driver's license, a motorbike license, do other little small things like that. No big deal. But you can't buy land. Okay, that's the main thing that people say. Those are the kind of things that, when it comes down to it, most people are going to say, hey, you can't buy land. And buying land in Asia, especially Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, is not easy, because it's just the whole Southeast Asian thing. I think with the exception of Cambodia and maybe one other place, buying land is like a pain in the ass, okay? It's not going to be easy in most of these countries in the region. It's not just a Thai situation only. All right, let's get to retirees, those with the OA visa, the retirement visa, quote unquote. Man, so people have been living here for a long time on a retirement visa. As you know, this visa, you renew it every year. It's a non-immigrant visa, means that there's no track to become a permanent resident. Same as a tourist visa. Think of the retirement visa as like just an extended tourist visa for those 50 years or older. If you think about it that way, then it becomes simple to understand. Besides all the things that you can do with the tourist visa, really you don't have any more rights in Thailand. You can't buy land, you can't work in the kingdom, you can't get a job, you can't start a business. So the retirement visa is really for people who are retired and they want to stay in Thailand for long periods of time. To be honest, it's not even set up so that you can live in Thailand forever. It really isn't. Okay, if you really think about it. Okay, because there's no path to permanent residency, there's no path to being an immigrant, there's no path to being a citizen in Thailand with the retirement visa. Let's jump ahead to the elite visa, the one that you have to pay a lot of money for 5, 10, or 15 or 20-year terms. Okay, so you think, oh my God, the retirement visa is awesome. I can do all these kind of things. Nope. Nope. It's just like any other visa. It's more like a tourist visa with some little perks. Okay, you can't buy land in your name, like a house. Oh, by the way, let me just stop here and say when I spoke about land with the other kind of visas, I mean like land, not like a condo. Whether you're a tourist or retiree, elite visa, almost anyone can buy a condo and own it 100% in Thailand. Okay, anyone can do that. You don't need to have any special kind of visa or anything. You can be just a tourist on a 30-day visa, go buy a condo. As a retiree, as an elite visa, and so on. Okay, so the elite visa cannot work in Thailand either. They can buy a condo just like anybody else. They cannot buy land. When we talk about buying land, we mean actual land, not like a piece of a condo complex. The little secret behind buying condos in Thailand is that foreigners cannot own more than 49% of a condo complex. So if you see a huge condo building with 100 units inside of it, foreigners can own 49 of those buildings only, but no more. There are a few little caveats and a few little twists and turns because of COVID and all of that sort of thing, but in general, that is the rule. You cannot buy like you go into the country in Eastern and you see a beautiful piece of land beside a river and the mountains in the background and a rice field out there. Forget it. No, you can't do it. You can't buy that land. Okay. As I said, it's more of a Southeast Asian thing. It's not just a Thailand thing. All right. Let's get to marriage visas. And you'd think now with marriage visas that, oh yeah, this is it. I have a Thai wife, a Thai husband. Now I can do all of my stuff. Ain't wrong. You have no rights. You have no rights. Your spouse has all the rights. You're buying land. It has to be in your name and your spouse's name. Okay? With you're buying a vehicle, same thing. Okay? All of these kinds of issues, it's the same as a tourist visa. You have to renew this visa every year. Okay? So there's no path to citizenship or permanent residency with a marriage visa either. It's just a marriage visa. I always ask myself, why did they do that? Why? It's like if you go to another country, let's say the US, the UK, Australia, you marry a Australian citizen, a US citizen, a UK citizen, then there is like almost automatic path to permanent residency and eventual citizenship, okay? But not in Thailand, not in other Southeast Asian countries also. It's the same thing. I don't know why it's done that way. I don't know why they made that decision so many years ago, because all these visa decisions were made a long time ago. This is why I always laugh when people say, oh, they keep changing the rules, they keep changing all the requirements. Blah, blah, blah. No, none of the visa requirements have changed. What they've changed is the entry requirements to Thailand, which is a Thailand pass, your certificate of entry that they used to have before, all of this shit. Okay, they've changed just those rules, but the visa rules have not changed. And they have not changed for a super duper long time. Okay, so there you go. So the marriage visa, you have no rights. It doesn't lead to permanent residency. It does not lead to citizenship. Talk to anybody who lives there for 20 years, has a Thai wife, Thai husband. Dude, you're not more special than, let us say, a tourist. Okay, it's just not. You're just a tourist with a spouse in the country. Okay, and comes to the last one that we always talk about. The person who has the work permit or owns a business in Thailand. This is the person that has the most rights. Okay, believe it or not, screw the marriage visa, screw the elite visa, screw the retirees, screw the tourist visa. If you want to stay in Thailand permanently, long time, get permanent residency, get citizenship, bam. Get a job in Thailand or own a business in Thailand that makes a decent amount of money. Okay, so here are the rules as of the time of this video. To get permanent residency in Thailand, which means you no longer need a visa to be in Thailand, is you have to be earning about 80,000 baht per month for 3 consecutive years. That's it, okay? So you could be in a business or you could have a job, and if you're earning about 80,000 baht per month, okay, so that's about, I think it's about what, $1,500 or something like that. It's not a big amount of money. Then after 3 years of consecutive work, you can actually apply for permanent residency, okay? Now, at permanent residency, you still cannot buy land as yet until you become a citizen, but at least you don't have to deal with any of the visas, you don't have to deal with 90-day reports, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. You're free and clear. You can come and go in Thailand as you please. You are a Thai permanent residency for the rest of your life, okay? And then like a couple of years after that, you can apply for Thai citizenship and get your Thai passport, all of that stuff, all of that good stuff, okay? So the one where you get the most rights, have a job in Thailand that pays you a decent amount of money, have a business in Thailand that pays you a decent amount of money, do it for 3 consecutive years, be sure you're paying your taxes, apply for permanent residency, and you're done. A lot of people say, oh, it's only 100 countries per year. But you know what? It's really, most countries don't even come near to that quota because most people don't realize that you can actually do it. So you have people living here, believe it or not, married, all of that stuff, for 20 years, 30 years, and they don't have any rights in the country. Okay? They can be kicked out at any point in time. Some of them are even working too, because if you're married to a Thai citizen, you can get a work permit, okay? And some of them are working, but they don't realize that they could actually become a permanent resident and aim for citizenship in the Kingdom of Thailand. So that is number one. And then number two, Thailand requires that you do have to learn how to speak some Thai to apply for these permanent residency and citizenship. You do have to learn some Thai, okay? You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be understood and to understand what people are saying. You don't even have to learn how to read and write Thai. You just need to learn how to speak Thai. Okay? And then once you do that, you can apply for permanent residency. As I said before, there's a quota, and the countries that usually bump up on the quota would be like China and India, because those are huge countries. A lot of people travel from those countries to Thailand, much, much, much more than would come from, say, Europe, Australia, United States, and so on. Okay? Believe it or not, nobody travels to Thailand from the US and Europe. When you compare it to India and China, it's like a huge, it's like so many more people that it's disgusting. When I say disgusting, I mean that in a good sense, okay? It's like you think that you're worth something. Oh, yeah, I'm from the UK, I'm from the US, so Thailand needs me more than I need them. No, forget it. There's 100 Chinese that are taking your place that have just as much money to spend in Thailand as you do. So, don't think you're like everything, okay? So, yeah, that's it. That's who has rights in Thailand. It's not tourists. It's not the tourist visa. It's not the retiree visa. Because all these retirees say, oh, Thailand should do this for us, do that for us. I agree. Thailand should make the whole retirement thing a little bit better. Maybe, I mean, in all fairness, Thailand does have a 5-year and a 10-year retirement visa that little to nobody picks up, and it's just as easy to get as the normal retirement visa. You just have to show that you have more money, okay? I think it's like 1.3 million baht. You got to prove that you have at least that in assets. That's not really a lot of money. That's like a little bit less than 50,000 US dollars. Put that in a bank account and boom, you can get the 10-year OOX retirement visa. So you're in Thailand for 10 years, okay? So there is that. There's a 5-year retirement visa. And of course the 1-year retirement visa. And also the elite visa as well. Makes things a little bit easier, but when it comes to rights, all of that stuff, the quickest way to become a Thai citizen, a permanent resident, a citizen, is by working in Thailand, having a good job, or having a good, or just a normal small business that makes a few 100,000 baht per year, per month. Don't have a lot of profit, don't have a lot of expenses. Any good service business can do that, and I'll make another video about the kind of businesses that you can start in Thailand, because that's another sore point that I always have as well. So anyway, I hope this video was useful for you guys. If you want to get assistance with any of those kinds of visas, please contact us at the links in the description below. We'll be really happy to answer all your questions and get you settled into Thailand as well. All right, see you guys later. Take care. Bye.
What are you waiting for?
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 Yes, correct. What are you waiting for? The world may not be in a great shape right now, but it's very possible to come to Thailand. It's actually easier to live in Thailand for a longer time than it was before. With One Smile can get you the right long-term visa, find a perfect house, open the local bank account, or even open the business here. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below or go to bansmile.com and get started.